All right, well, today we're going to be modifying the generator enclosure to allow for air to flow in and exhaust to flow out. A couple of components I acquired are just going to be the inlet vent. So I'll include an Amazon link. It was around $25.99 on Amazon, and it has that chicken wire to prevent any type of bugs or bigger debris making their way in. Then I also have this exhaust fan with a screen as well. That was, I want to say, $59.99 off of Amazon. And then I also have some sheets of heat-resistant noise dampening insulation that I also bought for Amazon. These were $17.99 each. I want to say between these components and this, it was like $140, I'd say, plus the lifetime box that I got for $75 off of Facebook Marketplace. Be around what would be 75 plus 140, we're talking like $215 total for Enclosure, which much cheaper than any enclosures I saw online. But yeah, so what I'm going to do first is install the inlet screen on this side. Installing it on this particular side simply because the front of the generator where the plugs are is facing this way and my control box is over there, so that's the way I need electricity to run. And the intake, if you're facing the pressure generator, is on the left hand side and the exhaust is on the right hand side. So I bought this fan off of Amazon to use for the generator cover that we're building. And I'm going to use this as the exhaust fan. And I bought it because it came with this mesh. But the mesh, actually, they tell you in the manual. Let's open it up here. They tell you in the manual, if you want to install the screen, they say is optional, is just pop these 4 screws off of the side, basically here on the 4 corners, put it in, and then reinstall it. Well, the screen doesn't have any perforations, so you kind of have to, like, I marked these. I placed it here, hovered it over it, figured out what the diameter was of the bolt so I could find the corresponding drill bit, and then marked it. And I'm gonna drill it out. Just kind of annoying that it doesn't, they didn't send it from the factory with that. Like, there's no way to use this if it doesn't have the holes. But anyway, we're gonna put the holes in. Right, so we have our drill here with our corresponding drill bit for this size bolt that came with it. I'm using a 7/32 drill bit, so let me drill these 4 holes out and show you guys. All right, so I got the 4 holes in here. You can see that using a 7/32, fits pretty snugly, but that's how I prefer it. One thing to note is drill them through on the same side, because what's going to happen is you're going to get a burr coming out the back. Now, you could fold these over, you can try and break them off. What I'm going to do instead is just kind of like fold them down, and then I'm going to set it here and the head of the bolt is going to come down through this way. That way the head of the bolt runs into the burrs as opposed to having the burrs on the other side. That'll just help keep bugs out a little more, because that's the main goal for the screen, is I just don't want any wasps or anything like that making their way in. All right, so now I'm going to attach the foam. Right. Well, that'll be it for tonight. In the coming days, I'll drill a exterior port on the outside. That'll allow me to insert the plugs. That way I can run it with the lid closed to run it as quietly as possible, which is just a nice convenience thing. But yeah, the project's coming along. So we have the intake completed. We have the exhaust completed. We've got the thermal shielding and sound dampening completed, at least the main parts where the generator sits inside the box. All that's really left is making those ports to the plugs, like I said, and then we'll give it a test out. All right, so we're back out at the property, and I'm finishing the generator setup here so that it can run inside of the box. We already have the inlet complete and the exhaust fan complete. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a hole, because I have a little flap we'll install to be able to hook our wires in and then run them out. Then I got to cut through the foam. Alright, now we're going to install this 3D printed flap I made. I might toss in some footage of me designing this on my computer at home, but then I printed it on my 3D printer. Alright, so we're working on our enclosure for the Predator generator. And I'm going to be cutting a hole in the outside of the box to allow us to put the plugs in, but I want a flap to cover those up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to design a quick flap in SolidWorks, and then I will print it out on my 3D printer, and then we'll install it on the box when we get back to the property. All right, there we go. Nice little flap. All right, well, let me test this out a little bit. All right, well, before I start it up, I gotta connect the exhaust fan up over here. Let's see. All right, so it says use top outlet first. And it doesn't draw. Really, when you do the warm-up, it says don't have anything plugged in, but since I want to run it in this generator and have it be a little quieter on the property, I have to have the exhaust fan. Exhaust fan only draws like 54 watts, I believe. So You know, it's not totally ideal to have it running something right off the bat, but I don't think it's enough of a load to really be detrimental in the long term. I'm curious to see how much quieter it's going to be when it's running just inside the box. I mean, I'm going to let it run, but I was expecting the fan to blow a little harder on the exhaust side, but it is getting a lot of suction on the inlet side. Yeah, let's let it run. It is tremendously quieter though. It's awesome. It's been 5 minutes. We just completed the warm-up cycle. Seems like things are running pretty well. Out of curiosity, I brought my decibel meter out. See, it's hovering right around, I'd say 75 with the lid closed outside. That's like standing right next to it. And as you step away, you know, by the time I'm only about 10 feet away now, we're already dropping in the 60s. Get 20 feet away. Low 60s. You know, so by the time I'm, let's say 30 feet away, I'm in the 50s already in terms of decibels. Now curious to see it when I open up the lid, how high it jumps.